Hi everybody, how's it going? I will listen today about function and structures. And I want you to know that the function and the procedure, they have just to do one thing, because there is a lot of developers, they let the function or the procedure do many things. In the end, their code spaghetti, or in the end, they didn't get the correct result because they let the procedure, for example, read and print data, or they let the function do math with logic with many things together. And in the end, when they want the return value, the function is not working. So today we'll learn how to use function structures together, and we'll learn how to let the function or the procedure just to read one thing or to do one thing. And if you want to do another thing, for example, if you want to read data from the user through the console screen, we will create or build a procedure to read data from the user through the console screen. If you want to print or display this data on the console screen, so we will build another procedure to print this data that we take it from the user to the console screen. That's the proper way to how work with function and procedure. Plus the programming, it's reading data from the user and display data for the user. Inputs and outputs. While the programming inputs and outputs, so we will let for the inputs a different and separate procedures and function, and for the output, when we want display, for example, or print, we will make a separate or different function and procedure. So now let's go to Visual Studio to know how we can use function instructions together, and also I will give you a small clue about the reusability. Let's go to Visual Studio. Alright, this is our program. We have here hashtag include stream, hashtag include string using namespace std, and after that we have one struct, two procedures, void procedure. Alright, and in the main function we have 3 lines of code. We use or define the name of the struct, because we say the struct is user defined data type, which means the name of the struct. When we give the struct the user defined data type, when we give it a name, now the struct, we give it a name, str, it stands for struct, okay, and information. So str info, this is the name I created, while the struct is user defined data type, and its name, it's become data type like integer and float and double string. So when I want to define the name of the struct, which is user defined data type, in the main function, I have to declare after that a variable y to reach what inside the struct, the variables with their values. All right, so I have here in the main function the name of the struct, and after that declare a variable, because the name of the struct, as we said just right now, it's data type, user defined data type, and we call the name of the first procedure read info, and we give it parameters, because it has one parameter here. The read info procedure, it has one parameter, as you see, and after that also we call the name of the procedure print info, and we give it a parameter because it has also one parameter. All right, let us start from the struct. We'll see what inside the struct. The struct, it's a symbol, it doesn't has anything, just a string first name, string last name, integer age, and string phone. So we have 3 string, first name, last name, phone number, and integer for the age. Even the phone number you can use integer, but better, because if you want to write the number, the phone number with the plus, with the code of the country, so it's better to be a string. All right, and we didn't assign to them any values. We'll take the values of these variables from the user through the console screen through this procedure. We will open the first procedure. We have here procedure void read info, and between 2 brackets of the read info procedure, we use the name of struct, because it's data type, like we put here before, integer a, integer x. It's same, the str info, it's like integer, it's the name of the struct, it's user defined data type. All right, but we create user define, it's called the user define it, okay, because we define it, we create this name of data type, so we can use it like integer string in the parameters. And after that, because we use or we define data type, which is str info, the name of the struct, we have to what? To declare a variable. The variable info, called it susu, kuku, whatever you want. I called it info to fit with the name of the struct. So here between the 2 brackets, we put one parameter. Let's open this procedure to see what's inside it. All right, this procedure, from its name, just read info. Just it will read information and data from the user through the console screen. We will not print anything. We just display questions to the user to let the user understand what kind of data should insert now. For example, see out, please enter your first name. Now the user will understand that should insert a first name. So we will write it like this, cn greater than info.firstName. Why info dot? Because info, it's the variable name that actually exists inside the parameter of read info procedure to let us reach the variables that exist inside the struct. We take it already before in the struct lesson, but I will repeat it for you now a little bit. For example, here, if I write directly first name, it's wrong. There is no first name variable showed because we'll not declare it outside the struct, right? We'll not put it, for example, global or in a main function or something like this. To reach the variable inside the struct, we will use the name of the variable that we declare it inside the parameter of the read info. For example, here the name of the variable info dot, the command will give you as a menu options, age, first name, last name, phone number. While the a compiler going to display a question for the user, please enter your first name. So I will use first name a variable, all right, to fit. So the compiler will take the data from the user, which is the first name, and store it inside first name variable, all right. So now first name, it will assign to it value, which is the first name. And after that, also another question, see out, please enter your last name, info.last name, see out, please enter your age, info.age, please enter your phone number, info.phone number. This procedure just read info. We didn't print anything. If you want to print the data that will take it from the user through the console screen inside the procedure, we can come here, we can say see out less than info, for example, dot first name less than end line, all right, to let the compiler after display this question to user and take the data stored inside the variable. Now the compiler will come print it for us if we want to print it inside the read info procedure. But we said that we cannot let the procedure do two things. If I want now to print, I will build or create another procedure that it's called void print info. Now here in this procedure, we're just going to print. Also, to reach the variable, the variables that inside the struct, we have to use the name of the struct, and we declare variable, same variable, it's okay because different procedure. So see out less than line of stars, and see out this string first name colon less than info dot first name. Now the compiler will print for me the data that the user inserted through the console screen. Why the compiler now will print it for me? Because already the compiler read it in the first procedure and store it inside the first name variable. And now when I will call the name of the variable again, it's already full of the value. It's already stored inside the value. Compiler will print for me the name or the value that insert inside this variable. Same with the info.last name, info.age, info.phone number, all right? And we come here in a main function. We use just the name of the struct, which is the user-defined data type, the data type that we create by ourselves, str_info, and we declare a variable, any name, but because we will print information for person, so I name it person1 info. And after that, to read the info, to let the compiler display these questions to the user through the console screen and collect data from the user, I will use read info procedure. Why? Because read info procedure, it's display the question, please enter your first name, please enter your last name. At the same time, it has cn that will store the data that the user will insert it through the console screen and store it inside this variable. So the procedure read info doing this for me. For that, I call its name and I give it this parameter, person1 info, because in the end I want person1 info variable that I declare it in the main function. I want it to return for me full with the values that with the values or the data that the user is going to insert through the console screen. All right. Imagine that we didn't have struct, or we didn't declare struct, or we didn't use struct. You will have to send to this procedure for parameters. One parameters for first name, second parameters for second name, and age and phone number. So because we have struct, all the variables, we put them under one umbrella. We call it str_info inside the struct, and now just through the person1 info, it will reach all the variables with the values that will assign it through the console screen from the user. It will be stored inside this person1 info. So when we will tell the compiler read info, person1 info now it's empty, it just has variables. Compiler will open the procedure, will jump inside the procedure that is called read info, will display the questions, will collect data, store them inside the variables. In this step, after this read info procedure, the person1 info, it will be already stored inside it, the values. So when you come here just to print it, the compiler will print it as we shape it inside the print info procedure. So let's do run now to see how the program is going to work. Perfect. The compiler display for us the first question that exists inside read info procedure. Please enter your first name, Sam. Please enter your last name, Adam. Please enter your age. 33, please enter your phone number, whatever. And once I press enter now on the keyboard, the compiler should display for me or use the procedures that it's called print info. You know, that start of line with first name should give me first name Sam. Last name should give me last name Adam. Age should give me age. And the shape that we do it inside the read info, print info procedure. So let us do enter. Perfect. The compiler display for me the shape that I created or the paradigm or the style that I create inside the print info procedure, but without the value that we insert as a user through the console screen, which is Sam, Adam, 33. Values is not printed through the procedure that is called print info. First name, it's empty. Last name, it's empty. Age, it's empty. Phone, it's empty. Age is give me a wrong number. That's not correct because I answer 33 is give me minus 858 something. So our program, it's written wrong. The code, it's written wrong. There is one mistake in our code and I do it on purpose to understand the previous lesson. Why this happened? Because we send it by val, not by reference. To let the compiler take these values that we assign it to the variables inside the procedure that's called read info. To let the compiler take these values and become affected also in the main function, we should to send it by what? By ref. So because we send it by val, the compiler not printed for us here as a final result in the main function. So we have to get back here up to the procedure that it's called read info, and before the name of the variable that we declare it, we will use unsigned by ref. Now if we did run again, compiler will print for me the string that I created inside the print info procedure plus the values that I assigned it through the console screen from the user. Perfect. The compiler display for me the same questions. Please enter your first name, Sam. Please enter your last name, Adam. Your age, 22. Phone number, wherever. Once I press enter, the compiler now should display for me these values next to the strings that I write them inside the print info. These values it should display now in the main function. Why? Because I make it by ref. So it should to be also affect out of the procedure of read info in the main function. Why? Because we didn't do copy. When we leave it by val, it's by default by val. When we leave it by val, by value, compiler do copy from these variables and assign the values to the copy of the variables, which is inside the procedure that is called read info. But if you want the compiler not do copy, take the original variables from the struct and put it inside the procedure read info and put it inside the main function, and with their original values we should to have, or we should to send it, or we should to do by ref, by reference. Now once we press enter, compiler should print for me the strings with the values. Perfect. First name Sam, last name it's Adam, age 22, phone number the number that we inserted for the phone number. So why it's happened like this? Because as we said, when you leave it by var, not by ref, compiler do copy from the variables and explained in the previous lesson. If you want to print it inside, if you want the compiler print the values inside the procedure, it will be printed. For example, here I will leave it by val, and in the same time I will do cout less than info dot first name. Just let us have example just for first name. All right, info dot first name. Compiler once will collect the data or the value from the user through the console screen. Before it's finished from this procedure, it will print for me the first name, but it will not print it for me as a final result on the main function because I do it by val. Let's have an example, practical example, to see how it's gonna work. Right, just /n for the spaces. Let's do run to the program. Now I let the procedure read info read for me and also print one line of code. This line, it will print for me the value that we will store it through the that we will take it from the user through the console screen, which is the first name. This first name, Sam, it will be just Sam printed. Please enter last name. It will not be printed because we not use cout. We not like let the compiler print it inside the procedure. Please enter your last name, Adam, 7, wherever. Look, compiler not printed outside because it's by val, but print Sam for us because we tell the compiler, please, after you display this question to the user and collect from the user data and store it inside the variables, print for me or display for me the value of just first name. If I want these values be affected also in the main function and the final result here in the print info procedure, I should to make it by ref, like this. Should to make it by ref, by reference. And if I did now and erase this line of code, right, and Control Shift and B to rebuild our program. Perfect. The command display for us the questions again. Please enter your first name, Sam, last name, Adam, age, whatever, phone number, also wherever. Perfect. The command print for us all the information or all the data of this person through the console screen using read info procedure just to read, and we make it by ref also to take the value and use it inside the print info procedure and print for us in the end in the main function the values that we take it from the user through the console screen. Look now the reusability how it will be. This is the code. I will open it for you a little bit. We have here hashtag include stream, hashtag string using namespace td, and this is the struct. Look at it. I want you to write it because I will not put for you the source code in the description down below. I want you to look at it through the video now and write it by yourself to get used about it. All right, this is the struct. This is the procedure. You can stop the video and copy it, write it on the Visual Studio or any IDE you use. Read info, and this is the print info, and this is the main function. Look now the reusability how it will be. Now if I want to print information for the another person, what should I do? I will just take this 3 line of code, I will copy it, I will come here, just 3 line of code I will add, right? And I will change from person 1, person 2, person 1, person 2, person 1, person 2, just the name of the variable and the parameters. And I will come here, I will close this procedure, okay, and I will close the second procedure, I will close the struct, and these two procedure, this is already block of code, like black box. I will not touch them anymore. They are prepared. They can read for me any information for any person, and they can print for me any information for any person. If I want to print information for another person, I will be like here in the main function, and my code it's prepared, not spaghetti, because if I want to print information for another person without using struct, so I will declare another 4 variables, and I will declare another 4 question to display for the user through the console screen to let the user insert the information for the second person. So it's better to let the code journal. You create struct, procedures or functions. They can now print for me information for any person and many persons also without write the code again. That's what we call the reusability. It's just small clue about it because reusability it's also a big. So we will take it in the future when we build projects together. We will go to the big projects. You will know and you will understand what is reusability, and you will be a strong developer because you will not write the code every time from the scratch. It will be built one time, and if you want just to modify stuff, to add one person, add a new feature, delete something, it will be everything organized in function procedures and structures, and that's how you should to program. Now I want to print information or collect information for the second person and also display the information of the second person on the console screen. I will just take this 3 lines of code, same, but I will change the name of the variable and the parameters from person 1 info to person 2 info to let the compiler distinguish between them, that this information belong to this variable person 1 info and this information belong to these variables person 2 info. So I will do run. Once I did run, the compiler will display for me twice the same questions and print for me or display for me different information for different persons. Perfect. Compiler display for me the first question. Please enter your first name, Sam. Please enter your last name, Adam. Please enter your age, 33. Please enter your phone number, whatever. Perfect. The first card information for this first person, it's printed. First name Sam, last name Adam, age 33, phone number, blah, blah, blah. And we have again the compiler not close the program, display for us again, as you see here down, the same questions but for the second person. Please enter your first name, let's switch it later, Adam, your last name Sam, age 55, phone number, whatever. Also the compiler prints for me the information for the second person without making ourselves tired writing everything from scratch. It was just 3 lines of code. We copy it and we change the name of the variable, which is 1 letter in the name of the variable, and that's what we call the reusability. That's what will make you a good developer, fast developer, when we use the thing in proper way. So that was the lesson of today. I see you next lesson, guys. Ciao.